Every once in a while, technology hits an inflection point that quietly rewires how the world works. Artificial intelligence and crypto are two of those revolutions, and now they're beginning to merge, creating what could be the world's first decentralized supercomputer. Let's break that down clearly and also look at why this might be one of the biggest opportunities of our lifetime. Every major AI model, whether that's ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, runs on a small handful of centralized servers. A few corporations control the compute, the data, and the decision making. They decide what model can say, who can use it, and how much it costs. That's the bottleneck. AI today is brilliant, but it's owned. If you don't control the compute or the data, you don't really control the intelligence. Crypto adds something that AI desperately needs: decentralized coordination. It allows thousands of independent participants around the world to work together without trusting each other, using incentives, proof, and open code. That's what made Bitcoin possible for money. Now the same principles are being applied to compute and intelligence. Imagine thousands of machines all over the world, from data centers to gaming PCs, pool their GPU power to train and run AI models together. Each node earns tokens for the work it contributes. No single company owns the system. No single point of failure. That's the vision behind projects like Aethir, Bittensor, Render, Akash, and Fetch.AI. Each is building different pieces of the puzzle, and together they form an early blueprint of decentralized AI infrastructure. Let's start with Aethir, because they were one of the clearest examples. They've built a decentralized cloud network for GPU compute. In simple terms, instead of renting GPU power from Amazon or Nvidia, anyone can rent it directly from the network. It's faster, it's cheaper, and it's censorship resistant. If you own GPUs, you can plug them into the network and earn Aethir tokens when others use your power. If you're a developer, you can instantly access compute capacity from anywhere in the world. That's not just clever economics, it's philosophical shift, because now computing power becomes a public resource, not a corporate monopoly. Then there's Bittensor, a network where AI models compete to provide useful answers. It's like a brain made of many smaller minds. The more valuable your model's contribution, the more rewards you earn. Over time, it learns which models are truly intelligent. This is what open source intelligence could look like: a self-organizing marketplace of minds. Render turns unused GPU power into global rendering grid. Imagine every idle graphics card on Earth working together. Akash does about the same thing for cloud hosting. It lets you deploy apps on a network instead of a single company's servers. And Fetch.AI focuses on intelligent agents, small autonomous programs that can make decisions, pay for compute, and compute tasks without humans in the loop. When you connect all these layers, something new starts to appear: a nervous system for the digital world. And here's why this matters. The big bottleneck in AI today isn't ideas, it's access. Access to compute, to data, and to opportunity. Decentralized AI removes those barriers. It means a teenager in Nigeria or Vietnam could access the same AI infrastructure as a billion-dollar startup in Silicon Valley. It means that small teams can build without asking for permission. It means no one company can decide what an AI is allowed to say. The economics are also fascinating. We're talking about a new market for GPU power, model performance, and data. Anyone with a machine can rent compute. Anyone with useful data can tokenize it. Anyone who builds a better model can prove it and get rewarded. That's the foundation of an AI-powered crypto economy. Now let's go deeper for a second. If intelligence is able to learn, predict, and adapt, what happens when learning itself becomes decentralized? Who owns the mind of the internet? Do we really want a world where one company decides the boundaries of intelligence? The decentralized approach says intelligence should be a public good, something humanity builds together. It's messy, but it's also more resilient, because when intelligence belongs to everyone, no single entity can turn it off. Of course, this isn't easy. These networks need to prove they can deliver performance, reliability, and security at scale. They'll face regulatory question, technical complexities, and adoption hurdles. But remember, the early internet had the same problems. It was slow, it was chaotic, and underestimated. Suddenly, it wasn't. And if you're watching this early, understand that this space is still in its infancy. These networks are layering the groundwork for what could become the backbone of global AI infrastructure. Just like the early adopters of Bitcoin helped bootstrap digital money, early participants in decentralized AI could help bootstrap digital intelligence. You don't need to build an AI model to benefit. You can learn how these systems work. You can contribute hardware, provide data, or simply understand where the future is heading. AI gives machines the power to think. Crypto gives them the freedom to act. Put those two together and you get something extraordinary, a digital organism that can grow, learn, and create value without permission. And that's why this story matters. Because the race to build the world's first decentralized supercomputer isn't just about technology. It's about ownership. It's about freedom. And it's about who gets shape of the intelligence that will define the next era of humanity. Like and subscribe if you agree that this is the future. And if you're watching this now, you are early, because the future of AI isn't corporate, it's collective, and it's already being built. See you next time, and cheers.